Massive news out of the United States with the infrastructure bill. And of course, what we're very interested in is the cryptocurrency provisions within that bill, seeming that they're going to be passing through the Senate. And unfortunately, the bad provisions seem to be the ones that are going to make it through the Senate. In today's video, I'll break down what happened and what happens next with this critical piece of cryptocurrency legislation moving through the US political system. Also, of course, we're going to take a look at the price of Bitcoin, see what the heck is happening with the technicals right now. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing, so if that's a topic that you would like to learn some more about, make sure that you subscribe to Lark Davis channel, gently tap on the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, and click on the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. So let's go ahead and turn straight over to the charts to get started off with today. Now we can see today the price of Bitcoin actually up to $46,661 or thereabouts. That's pretty gosh darn impressive. Amazing to see this just incredible price rally from the lows of late July, just storming higher with the price. At the current rate, we are only a few days away from a bullish crossover for the exponential moving averages. That is, of course, the 50-day exponential moving average crossing back over top of the 200-day exponential moving average. Basically, the orange line crossing over the blue line here. Now, what happened the last time that we had a golden cross, so to speak, for the exponential moving averages? Well, let's go back in time here. We can see right here a situation where that exact thing happened. And what happened when that happened? Well, the price did dump down a little bit, or at least a couple days in advance of that happening. We actually saw a big price retracement. That was, of course, following a massive market blow-off. Market recovery came in. The time frames and stuff are different, but just food for thought. We could see the price retracing back down to potentially retest the 200-day exponential moving average as a line of support before pushing higher. Now, if that were to happen, you might actually see the prices coming back down to some very interesting buy levels around $39,000 to $40,000. So I'll be keeping an eye out for those dip buying opportunities to come in over the next few days. I mean, for reference, that's only like a 15% dip. Actually, that's nothing for Bitcoin. So it's an interesting area. I would obviously like to see the 200-day exponential moving average holding as a line of support if we do get a price retracement happening over the next few days. And if that did happen, it's not likely going to stop the golden cross, that bullish crossover happening on the exponential moving averages. Now, another thing I wanted to point out here real quick is it looks like to me we're actually coming up to a bit of a bearish divergence. So we can see here we've had higher highs for the price of Bitcoin, but at the same time we've actually had a lower low on the RSI. So we had our first peak here, RSI goes up, price goes up again, RSI falls down. Now that is a bearish divergence right there. We shall see if we actually do get a price retracement based off of this particular indicator, but some food for thought there for you. Now, another thing I want to talk about real quick is the 200-day simple moving average. This is, of course, one of the most important lines, I think, when we talk about a bull-bear kind of situation coming through for Bitcoin, because it's the nice, smooth moving average. It really gives us a beautiful time reference for the asset. And we're seeing right now is that after a couple days of struggling to break above the 200-day moving average, orange line, of course, here on the chart, we did finally get a candle closing above the 200-day simple moving average. That's very bullish. However, We're right now in the process coming back down to a retest of that. We need to see $45,000 holding as support. If the price bounced here, that would be very bullish for Bitcoin. But there's nothing wrong with a failed breakout attempt here at the 200-day moving average. We can see the price come back down, rally up, and get ready for its next move up. Frequently, we do see these first big attempts not succeeding. So we'll see how this one plays out. I would obviously love for it to hold. I would prefer for this moving average to hold as a line of support, for the prices to just start rallying super higher, to reclaim the all-time high, set a new all-time high. But if we do get some price retracements happening over the next few days, I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer. I'd love to accumulate some more Bitcoin at lower prices. So I'll keep an eye on that as we see the next few days playing out here. By the way, if you want to earn some passive income with your Bitcoin, with your Ethereum, maybe with your stable coins, maybe with some of your other altcoins, you get yourself an account over on Celsius. You can get 6.2% for your Bitcoin, 5.35% on your Ethereum, 8.88% on your stable coins, as well as great lending rates for a lot of other altcoins. Use the link down below in the description, and you can get a $50 Bitcoin bonus when signing up using that link. That's for the mobile app, so you have to sign in for that using your mobile phone. But just go ahead and click on the link down below, and you'll be eligible for the $50 bonus. Now let's talk about the news. Holy cow. So the Senate in the USA, they have rejected all amendments to exclude basically a lot of stuff, but particularly for us and our interests, the U.S. Crypto amendments that were proposed by Pat Toomey and Cynthia Lummis. That's not going to go in. So we're going to actually stay with the original provisions, which basically mean that a whole bunch of bad stuff, but just the short version of it, in case you haven't been keeping up with the story. Regular users are going to end up having to basically have some very strict requirements put on them. So essentially, if you're running proof of stake, you're staking your Cardano, for example, or you're mining some Bitcoin at home, well, you're basically going to have to get a broker's license for that. Now, the guy who made the bill originally, he said, hey, that's not what I'm intending here, but the way the bill actually is, you know, he says one thing, the bill says another thing compared to what he is saying. And we know that Janet Yellen's Treasury office is the one who pushed this bill forward, so she knows what she's doing. This guy who proposed the bill, not so much. So unfortunately, what happened is they were basically looking at adding this amendment in that would have clarified. I mean, the Toomey Lummis bill amendments were good. They would have actually been a really positive thing for the cryptocurrency industry. I mean, these guys have been working on the crypto industry for a while. They understand the crypto industry. They understand what it needs. And they were ready to come up pretty quickly with some decent legislation that would have actually been a positive for the U.S. It would have clarified the tax rules, which would have been good for institutions. The other bill does that too. It's just bad for regular users. Good for Wall Street, bad for regular users. Unsurprising, of course, to see them pushing that kind of legislation forward. But the Toomey Lummis bill would have still got the tax part right, but also would have got the innovation part right. It would have meant that it wouldn't crack down on users, that it would make sure developers develop in the USA, stay developing in the USA. But the other bill, the one that is likely to pass, provision within the bill that is likely to pass, that is the one that is going to introduce some pretty onerous regulations into the cryptocurrency industry in the USA. Now, it all seemed good. It seemed like the Toomey Lummis amendment was going to be adopted. Last minute, a senator from Alabama comes in and says, hey, well, if we're going to be doing amendments, I'd also like another $50 billion for the defense industry. Not that they need it. The U.S. spends $750 billion already on defense, and another $50 billion. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Just out of nowhere. pork barrel, right? Just throw everything in there. But other senators did not want to add another $50 billion to the defense budget. So basically it was an all or nothing. Either you add the $50 billion on for defense or no amendments get through. And so it got to the point of no amendments going through. So this senator in his 80s, and nothing against 80-year-olds, but this senator in his 80s was able to get this through. I don't think he understands the cryptocurrency industry at all. And unfortunately, this guy also, realistically, here's the big story, Mr. Shelby. Who does he work for? Oh, right. He's the chairman of the banking committee. Right. And of course, some of his biggest contributors have been banks. Banks. So you can see he's had massive contributions from the defense contractors, who obviously want him to push for the $50 billion extra in defense. Amazing. They give him a couple $100,000, they get $50 billion. Ha! Great return on investment. Crazy. And of course, also big into commercial banks. So this guy's on the side with banking. He's on the side with the defense industry. Those are the people he represents. He doesn't represent his constituents. He represents the banks and defense contractors. So here's a bought and paid for political stooge who unfortunately is holding up a key piece of cryptocurrency legislation. So there you go. And he's retiring. He's retiring soon. This is his last, FU to America, I guess, on his way out the door. Oh, boy. Anyway, so this commentary here from Jerry Brito, he said the bad news is that the amendment did not receive unanimous consent, so it's not going to make it into the bill. The good news is, of course, this is not the end of the fight to make sure that cryptocurrency legislation in the USA is good legislation. The bill, if passed, they're having the final vote on it tomorrow. There's always time for this Shelby guy to change his mind, but of course he's not going to do that. So it's now going to go to the House of Representatives, where it will continue to go through the legislative process. Now the conversation will pick up again. You're going to have to start calling your local representatives, talking to them, saying you want whatever the new proposal is going to be, you want that proposal to be supported. Back to the drawing board in terms of fighting for the future of cryptocurrencies in the United States. And I like this commentary here from Ariana Simpson. She said the thing is, crypto is going to happen with or without the USA. And she's absolutely freaking right. Crypto is totally global. And it's not to say that even if with the bad provisions getting through, it's not going to kill crypto in the USA. It's just going to make it harder for regular users to use networks. It's going to push the mining industry out of the United States and to other shores. It's going to push developers out of the country. It's going to be basically saying no to the next internet level opportunity. As she says, the question is not what is really whether the USA gets left behind or not. Crypto's not going anywhere. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. And even if the bad provision gets through, one, I suppose, silver lining of that is that, hey, at least it's going to give all the Wall Street types what they've been asking for years, which is regulatory clarity. It's bad regulatory clarity, but clarity nevertheless. Wall Street always finds their opportunities. Wall Street, man. I liked this take, too, from Amir Rosic. He said the regulatory bill is going to have the Streisand effect for the cryptocurrency industry. I love that. So in case you're not familiar with the Streisand effect is a social phenomenon that occurs when an attempt to hide, remove, or censor information has the unintended consequence of further publicizing that information, often via the internet, named after, of course, Barbara Streisand, who attempted to suppress photographs of her house in California, which of course drew more attention to her house in California. I think what we're going to see with this bill, everyone's talking about it. Talking about it in the news, senators talking about it. Now, of course, the Congress people over in the House of Representatives, they're going to be talking about it. The crypto legislation, it's hitting news cycles now. They're talking about it everywhere. This is big. This is a really, really big piece of legislation, and it's a really big deal. So, regardless of what plays out, the cryptocurrency industry is winning. And even if the worst legislation gets through, it doesn't end anything. It just means that there's going to be less economic opportunity from the cryptocurrency industry for the United States. It'll make it harder for regular users within the United States who, you guys have already had enough crap from your legislators in terms of not having access to token sales and stuff like that, not getting certain airdrops, et cetera, because everyone's so scared of having the SEC come after them, they just completely deny Americans the ability to invest in this kind of stuff. America is still the country that has the sophisticated investor laws, so you're not allowed to invest in pre-IPO stocks. Right, that's only for sophisticated investors, aka people with more money than probably you or most people. Really pushes it off to let the rich get richer, and then when the IPO comes, those people sell you their shares. That's how the system works. It's to keep the rich richer and the poor poorer, I suppose. It's a massive opportunity right here, right now for the USA if they get it right. If they get it wrong, innovation will go elsewhere, and it won't end the cryptocurrency industry. It'll just be a missed opportunity for America to have really gotten something big done. Anyway, we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, we're going to continue talking about this story for the next few weeks as it all plays out through the halls of power in Washington. Your question for today: do you think that the crypto bill is actually going to end up having this Streisand effect where it's simply going to make crypto bigger than anyone could have thought? Or maybe just, big fat nothing burger in the end? Let me know down below in the comments section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.